Sweet 16 stuff, which is about young affluent young people and having parties, wasn't necessarily because I had all the money, but it was based upon star quality.
I'm going to challenge you on that.
Yeah, challenge me
because
then.
That's
We're
amazing.
not gonna fight though, bro.
No, we're not going to fight. We're not
Boy.
going to fight. We're not going to fight. It's not that type of podcast.
Good. But I really care about black and underrepresented young people, diverse talent. I really want to see them like live on purpose and fulfill their potential. I really care about that. I was fake. I was fake. So I know, I can sniff it. And I can see when somebody just like wants to just use me.
One thing about you, Andre, as you're probably already picking up, or the audience is picking up from watching, is that you definitely are a character.
It's powerful when you're yourself, when you can really harness your identity and who you are.
So there's been another really big change in your life, and that is your relationship.
She's an answer to prayer.
What was that, Per?
Hi, my name's Andre Spence and I'm on the Behind the Dreams podcast.
Welcome to the Behind the Dreams podcast, where we explore who you need to become to be successful. Our guest today is Andre Spence, a dynamic social entrepreneur, author, and mentor with over a decade of experience in the entertainment industry. Andre is the founder of Global Purpose Enterprise, an organization dedicated to empowering young black individuals through events and mentorship. He's also the visionary behind the Progress app, facilitating impactful mentorship connections. With partnerships with firms like EY and Soho House, Andre's commitment to making a positive difference is evident. Join us as we delve into Andre's journey and uncover the unique qualities that define him. I'm Claude Williams, and this is the Behind the Dreams podcast. How you doing, Andre?
I'm well, bro. How you doing?
I am good. I'm good. It's been a day, but I'm happy to be here.
So what do you mean by it's been a day? I'm here to interview you.
I knew you was going to start this. What do I mean when I say it's been a day?
And how have you pushed through it?
How I pushed through. I had to wake up really early today, get some stuff done for my day job, do some preparation for this. Long day, lots of responsibility, lots of important things. How'd I push through? That's what needs to be done, innit? So just keep moving forward.
And how do you make sure that you don't go into burnout?
How do I do it? I do have time in my diary every day for like some restorative type things, like my admin team make sure that I am resting. I've got some stuff in there for that too.
Big up to Shannon.
Yeah, now Shannon is a lifesaver, as we all know.
Definitely.
Good stuff. Yeah. Okay. That was a weird way for me to start, but it's all good.
I'm going to ask him the question because I don't want to answer anything.
Actually, that's interesting because myself and Abushay recently did some training on how to do interviews better. So we know how to deal with people like that now as well.
Really? Oh, let's see. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works.
But before we start, I got a few questions for you, bro.
Nice.
All right. So, would you rather have an unlimited supply of Prada shoes or a collection of unlimited hats of your choice?
Not everybody's going to see the shoes then. I need the hat. Yeah, I ain't got much hair on my head anymore. So as a result, I need the hat. I used to have an afro, so this is my branding. Forget the shoes. I'll take Christian Dior.
Where's that hat from, by the way?
This hat is a brand called Zhu. She's amazing. She's an independent designer, but this is bespoke. I was actually meant to have a collaboration with her years ago. Didn't. That's the reason why it says Pose, because it was meant to be called Behind the Pose, but we didn't quite do it. But I've got loads of these hats. She makes me them all the time.
So how does one acquire one of those hats?
If you want to pay me. No, but you can actually, shoes, she's really, really great. If you go on my Instagram, it's by_SJU. They're a few hundred pounds or something like that. But they last forever.
Yeah, because I know obviously it's a big part of your brand. Next question for you. Would you rather have an endless wardrobe for red carpet events or an endless library of books on personal development and entrepreneurship?
I would have preferred the red carpet. I'm just checking. You know what it's meant to be. So endless books, but as long as the books are an audio book, because I read very slow, so I have to read and listen at the same time. But yeah, definitely on entrepreneurship, it's important than just red carpet. It's cool, but it's not that cool.
Yeah. The thing is, a lot of people, you can say that because you've experienced a lot of red carpet type of events, but yeah, not everyone would have had that type of lifestyle.
Well, you'll soon find out. Who was it that said they wish that everybody got rich and famous. Jim Carrey, everybody got rich and famous, to realize that essentially, can't remember the quotes, it's not really anything. It's like, okay, you go to that red carpet, it's very similar. But what does that mean? Sorry, I've just learned it doesn't mean much. It's cool, but it's not.
Fair enough.
Great.
All good. So one thing about you, Andre, as you're probably already picking up, or the audience is picking up from watching, is that you definitely are a character. That's one thing that has stood out to me from literally the very first time I encountered you. You have big personality, but you're always very much so yourself. How have you managed to navigate being that while also going through this professional world?
Growing up, obviously, I think I'm designed this way. Everybody's got a different type of temperament, and I'm designed this way. I've kind of got very much similar characteristics to my mum's family. They're very creative, entrepreneurial, and have like different businesses like restaurants and things like that. And obviously that's the reason why I got on TV. It wasn't necessarily Sweet 16 stuff, which is about young, affluent young people and having parties. It wasn't necessarily because I had all the money, but it was based upon star quality. So yeah, I would say that it's powerful when you're yourself, when you can really harness your identity and who you are. I mean, before I used to see it as a hindrance because, well, I didn't really see it as a hindrance when I was younger. I just kind of got on with it. But then I started to get some fear, especially from being on TV, because then everybody has a question, everybody has things to say about you. You know, you're not good enough. Who are you? You know, why are you there, etc. So then there was a time where it wasn't so cool to kind of be myself. But then once I started to really understand myself, I'm a Christian, understand myself in Christ, in God, then I really accepted every aspect of myself, and I realized it's that gets me through doors. It's my unique ability to command a room with my voice, my style, my flair. Just having this type of character has helped me connect with people, and for people, obviously you then gain attention from the way you dress and how you speak, but I'm not just wanting attention, by the way, anymore, just for the sake of having attention. It's more of, now I realize that this is for a purpose. Yeah. So the style is for a purpose. The voice is for a purpose. Whereas when I was younger, I probably abused it because I just wanted some fame. I wanted the red carpet all the time. Whereas now I understand that because if you saw me outside of this, big up to my girlfriend buying me this whole outfit. But if you saw me outside of this, if I'm just at home, like I've got no hat on, I know that when it comes to business, when it comes to having meetings, I'm throwing the hat on because I understand the importance of branding. I understand the importance of being unique. It's important, and people look at that. So it's really tiring because I have to, every time I go into the office, it's a big collaborative space. There's lots of cool companies in the building I'm in, like TikTok and Soho House and things like that. But I have to put the hat on because people are expecting it. So yeah, I always, whether I'm happy or not, like you spoke about being a tough day. I remember I had a meeting with a big CEO, and honestly that day I was not feeling so good. And I think I went upstairs, I went into the toilet, I sat on the toilet and I cried. I cried a bit, I tried to get it out. And then, do you know what I did? I put my hat on and I smiled and I just got on with it. So, the personality, the style, the clothes really does open up doors, really helps you to connect with people. And it's important to embrace that.
So that's really interesting because there's almost a bit of a dichotomy between the idea of being authentic, but also putting on a brave face and maintaining a brand and an image. Do you feel like those two things are in conflict with each other?
Say that one more time.
So with what you just said, there's almost like a difference or dichotomy between like being authentically yourself and how you might feel or be thinking in the moment versus doing what you need to do in order to get your mission forward. Like how do you balance those two things?
So at that point, like I said, when I sat in the toilet and cried, I needed to get that out. But at the same time, business is business. You've got to get it done. And the person that I'm talking to does not care about that side at that moment. I mean, I've got mentors, I've got Counsel, obviously friends, family that I can then go to if I want to. I can pray, etc. And I could do that outside of that. But at that point, I need a deal. So I've got no time. He's not here. He's not my counselor. Just wants to know what am I doing? How can I add value to his life? Or his company's life, or the life of the company. So that's how I kind of separate it. It's like, what is the mission right now? That is the mission. Although last week, Thursday, when I was feeling overwhelmed, I left the house to go to the office to have a meeting. And then I was like, I can't do this. It's not worth my mental health. I can't. So I sent a message and I said, I'm so sorry. But I realized my schedule's like really busy. I hope I can, set up another time. And they said, yeah, in 2 weeks' time, we can set that up again. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps.
It does. So it sounds like what you're trying to say is, as a leader, in terms of the goals that you're trying to pursue, you have to do what you have to do at the end 100%. Of the day. And even though you can be authentic in the way that you might dress or how you carry yourself, even in the moment where you're not feeling your best, you have to keep putting your mission forward.
100%, sir.
But at the same time, there's a boundary to that.
Yes, sir.
So when it's going to start impacting your mental health, that's when it's gone too far.
And that's the reason why I asked you the question in the beginning, like, what do you do? What have you done to get through it? And how do you not go into burnout? So there's some things that I do, which is making sure that on a Friday now, because my Saturdays and Sundays are quite packed. So Friday is my day of like actual chill. I think I have like one meeting at lunchtime. And then other than that, I try and chill on that day. So yeah, putting things in place so that, we don't experience that burnout.
Yeah. Another thing that you did touch on as well is the idea that when you're
He's good at this, man. He's good.
Another thing you did touch on is that when you're at home, the character is a little bit different, or maybe not so much the character, but at least the way that you express yourself is a bit different. The hat's not there.
Oh, I thought you were about to say because
there.
People actually think my wardrobe is so nice and neat, and it really isn't. Like, it's not. It's actually all over the place. My girlfriend's life is very, very ordered and structured. Mine looks like it's a calculated mess sometimes in my room. But yeah.
Well, at least the way that you present yourself doesn't come across as a calculated mess.
Not.
So,
never.
But then with that said, is the way that you dress almost like a uniform that you put on when you go out into the world?
Oh yeah, listen. So basically, this is how it goes for me. I don't know why I keep looking at the camera, but this is how it goes for me. When I walk to the station from work, going from my house to the station, more times I'm not even wearing a hat. Yeah, I'm not wearing a hat, or I might be wearing a small hat. So as soon as I then get out the station, there's a part in Holborn that I go around this corner, and I think I'm like Clark Kent. I take off the hat. I whip this one. I whip a different color hat on. I look in the window I look in that window, and I'm ready. I'm ready for the day. So yeah, most definitely, it's a uniform for me. I've got like usually like big long coats as well. I feel like a Superman. So it definitely does make you feel a certain way, and that's why I encourage even young people, anybody, I suppose. The way you dress, it does change your physiology, how you think about yourself and things like that. So definitely showcasing the best aspect of yourself is important just for your own mindset when you're communicating with people. As I said, bro, I saw we met up yesterday and I saw your skin, it was glowing. I was like, how do you do that, bro? And, for myself to feel better this morning, after I came out of that shower, I don't know. I mean, I creamed my face. It wasn't working. I took out some cream, shower, whatever it is, put it on my face. I let it sit there like it's a face mask. It wasn't a face mask. Put it on there. Then I washed it off. Then I put some Moroccan oil, some other cream thing. And I said, it was shining like Claude. I said, I'm ready. So, yeah, definitely.
Thank you, my guy.
No,
thank you. That's genetics. But also, do you have a good morning routine now?
Right, tell us, you got to share this.
Oh, I think I need to charge you guys for that one.
Oh, come on, bro. You asked me what trainers to wear. You can share with us. Give us one tip.
Oh, okay. So actually, the simplest tip that I do, especially kind of those guys, a lot of us don't want to do nothing. Yeah, wash your face, definitely. But it's sunscreen. Like every day, no matter what, put that sunscreen on. Wow. I think a lot of people, especially if you've got darker skin tones, you think you don't need it. It's like, yeah, you're not going to get sunburned, but you're still aging your skin up all the time. Wow. So yeah, I think that's been one of my little hacks.
I can't even go against what he's saying. One, my little sister, she studies medicine, so she talks about that. But two, your skin looks way better than mine. So let's give him a round of applause because it's true. Use your sunscreen.
Yeah, you are definitely throwing me off, but it's all good. I'll stay on.
You better go back to that training course you went on and tell them to train you again.
Okay. Sticking on this idea around, I guess, the way that you dress is the way that you can feel. For myself, like, one thing I've said before, I think I said this on the podcast, but style is not something that I'm great at in general. Like, I wear relatively similar things, relatively simple, etc. But if a stylist was to ask me, okay, what is your style? I don't have an answer to that question. For somebody who doesn't quite know the best way to dress so that they can be as confident as you're suggesting, or have that uniform, or present themselves in the world, where would be the best place for them to start?
I think I have a story. So there's a young guy that I mentored called Ezekiel. And I can say this because he won't mind this. I mean, you cut out if you think you need to. But years ago, when I first met him, he used to wear do-rags and tracksuits. And he was like, you know, this is fine for him to wear that. He's from Brixton. And he talks about his story that he's from single parent, etc. And at that time that I met him, he just started to go to a university called Warwick. He's graduated there. We helped him get his job, which is really great. But he used to wear these do-rags. And by the way, I'm not telling anybody what to do what you want to do, okay? One, so please don't come at me for nothing. But anyways, I just said to him, like, what you do, like, why are you always wearing these do-rags? Because you said that you want to go into politics. Like, what you doing is like, oh, like, I just like do-rags, etc. And another young person was selling do-rags. And that person was like, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, corporate should take what black people do. We have do-rags, that's fine. And then I asked that young person, okay, you want to go into corporate world. Would you wear a do-rag? He's like, well, no. And I was like, why? He said, because I know where I'm going. So, and then at that point, Ezekiel took that information. You only see him in three-piece suits. Right. That's what he's wearing, three-piece suits. And it's essentially, you need to look at where are you going? And depending on where you're going, then means that you have to, you know, dress like you want to be in that environment, in that area. You know, if you go to the Ritz, I like the Ritz, often in see, when you go to the Ritz, like, if you haven't got a blazer, they're going to give you a blazer. Yeah. So you have to look, you know, and I learned this really young. One, my mom used to wear loads of clothes when I was younger, but when I was 19, I used to have a tailor that was I'm sounding so cool. He used to give me a discount, guys. A very good one. But, yeah, he used to make my suits. And he said to me, Andre, unfortunately, people judge on first appearances. So I learned really young that I had to present myself in a certain way for people to receive me, essentially. So the advice is just like, look at where you want to go, look at the type of people who are in that, and emulate that. You don't necessarily have to buy the most expensive version. It could be, you know, whatever, I don't know, it could be eBay, it could be Vinted, it could be Primark, charity shop, whatever it is. You could be borrowing the items, etc., whatever it is, or you could be going Ted Baker or Sandra or whatever it is, but dress like where you want to be, I would say. For somebody like me, it's obviously I'm originally creativity is that it's a huge deal to me. And even though I'm doing a lot of corporates, because I'm the CEO, I can just do what I want. Yeah. And I just let them know that this is it. Like this is who I am. You know, I'm not working for anybody else, so it is what it is. This is me. And they quite like it. They like the interest in hats. It's usually a talk of conversation. But yeah, I would say that look at where you want to go and then just emulate it. Go on Pinterest, put some of the things together and then go out and try and... How do you do it? I know you said you don't style, you don't think about your style much, but why did you decide to choose that camel coloured
For me,
jersey?
I think I just walked into the shop, saw something that I thought looked nice and just put it on. Simple as.
And I think it looks clean.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Clap for him. But why have you got that African... all right, I know Jamaican people, 60% of us from Ghana. Why have you got that African necklace on?
It is a remembrance to myself and my heritage. It's that simple. So
Which part of Africa are you from?
I do not know yet. Okay. I do have some DNA results from other members of my family. I personally, I'm not going to do a DNA test for many reasons. Okay. But from members of my family that have done, it's largely Nigeria, bits of Ghana.
But you're not as fiery as Abisoye.
I am very chilled. I think that is. I think that's probably the Ghanaian side, counterbalancing that out. Yeah.
It is there.
A bit of Kenya in there as well.
Cool. But yeah, you could be like Kenyan. Yeah. Could be in it. Got that skin.
The time that I have spent in Ghana, it did feel like home, if I'm being honest with you. It felt very much so that, this is somewhere that I feel very comfortable, almost more than when I'm in Jamaica, which is quite interesting. Oh, wow. So, yeah, don't be surprised if you see me out there one day.
Yeah, why not? Dirty December and all of that stuff. It's good there.
There's something that I've noticed a theme in everything that you've been saying so far. So whether that's the young guy going to the corporate world, whether that's you dressing in the way that you want to be, where you're going to go, but also something you mentioned earlier on around people having their thoughts and opinions about you. How do you deal with being authentic, being yourself, but also having other people's opinions and thoughts?
I think there's one time I was walking down the road and I can't remember what the conversation was about with one of my mentors, and he said, Andre, what I need you to do, I want you to write a column. It's probably in my book, by the way, guys. I'm not trying.
I did not even see that you brought that with you.
We spoke about people not wanting to do sales. I'm not trying to do sales, but if you want to buy it, I think I get an extra £6 from Amazon. It's called Why the Hell Am I Here? But I think in one of the chapters, I don't know where it is, I haven't read this for a month or two, but there's a diagram and there's like 3 columns. So writing down about how you view yourself. Then the second column, writing down how you think other people view you. And the reason why I say think, how you think other people view you, because sometimes they're not even viewing that way anyway. You just have this perception that they think this of you. And then write down how you would like God to view you. Now, the reason why I said how you would like God to view you is because sometimes I think we have the wrong perception of God. So we then think he doesn't like us and he wants all bad for us. So how you view yourself, how you would like other people to view you, and how you think how you would like God to view you. And essentially, what he told me is that you need to take on more of what God says about you than what other people think about you, and maybe sometimes more than what you even think of it about yourself. And so I think that there's times where I do feel inadequate, and I don't feel good enough. Like even coming onto the podcast, I was just like, I don't know why Abisoy is messaging me. What for? Sometimes I get that, but then I have to remind myself of actually, what does God actually say about me? And he says, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm, essentially knitted me in my mother's womb. I'm blessed and highly favored. All of these types of things. And, people do those words of affirmations, etc. But I definitely do repeat what God says about me. And over the times of repeating it, believing it, acting it out, even when I'm scared, then means that I really adopt it and then become a lot more confident than I previously was. I hope that answers your question, because sometimes I just think I go on this maze.
No, it's all good. A lot of us have the head knowledge about who we should be, who we've been told we are, whether that's from your faith, whether that's from your family, whether that's what you said to yourself. But there's a whole different story versus knowing it in your head versus having it in your heart.
That's good.
What is that process of actually getting it on the inside of you, believing it for real?
Okay, cool. Well, there's, the Bible says faith comes out hearing and hearing the word of God. So like I was saying previously before, a lot of people stand in the mirror and they say they're affirmations. I do believe that actually repeating the things to yourself over and over again and meditating on that does something to you. And then I do believe that even if you don't necessarily 100% believe it or feel it, like for example, if I don't really feel confident about going into this situation, I have to keep telling myself, and then there comes an action then that I have to do. And then you realize it's not so bad in the end. And then in the end, you start believing in yourself more because you've thought about it, you've spoken it, and then you've acted it out. I don't know if this is making 100% sense, but I can just see myself. For example, I'll give you a clear one. I didn't necessarily, when I had to meet some billionaire CEO, I sent an email and he didn't really respond to me. And then I saw him in the vicinity that I was in. And obviously, when you think of a CEO that's a billionaire worth $2 billion, you're just like, you can just feel all sorts of inadequacies. And I was like, he's over there. And I was like, what do I do? And so I called my mentor and I said, Mr. William, what? I saw so-and-so there. And he said to me, just go over to him, put your hand on his shoulder and say, I don't think he said anything. Just put your hand on his shoulder. That's what you need to do, and then walk off.
Walk off.
I was outside.
Wait, walk off.
Yeah, just put your hand on his shoulder and then walk off. Or something like that, he said, right? And I was outside so nervous because this man's worth so much. I want to get a deal. And you're not even responding to me. You haven't responded to my messages. But most people would just shy away from doing that. And I obviously felt so inadequate. That's why I had to go and ring him. But I always have mentors in my life to ring them for them to give me that boost that I need. So that's, I suppose, one technique, actually having people that can actually tell you to go for it.
Yeah.
But I then walked over. He was in a proper meeting with another billionaire and somebody else. And I just put my hand on I said, oh, hi. And he said, oh, Andre, I'm going to respond to you. And I walked up and I was like, that was strange because I'm like, bro, you're the guy, isn't it? But it made me realize that everybody's the same.
Yeah.
Like, and I've worked out that, you know what? You don't need to be scared. More times they're scared because if you've actually said to me that you're going to come back to me, you haven't come back to me. As soon as I do that, you're shook. But everybody's just human. Yeah. So I think that's why I'm saying like those principles of getting it into your head by repeating it to yourself, also getting those people that can encourage you to go for it, and then actually acting it out really has put me into a position where if I get like that again, it doesn't matter. For example, last example I'll give, and I give this specific one. So from where I work, there's lots of celebrities and people that come in, and I never get scared going to see a celebrity or whatever. One of the girls I work with, she said, oh, that's that footballer. And he said, that's that footballer. I was like, oh, who? I was like, it's Rio Ferdinand. And I said to her, listen to me. I said, by the time he leaves here, I said, we're going to speak to him. He's coming on our app. We're going to work with him. I'll show you. And I just said that confidently. Then when he came downstairs, what I learned straight away, of course, I was a bit nervous because he had these people with him and they were going. But I just said to her, listen, follow me now. I'm going to show you what to do. So I just walked. And I said, oh, yeah, hey, Rio. And I started to talk to him. I said, I know that you got your foundation, etc. We've got this app to help diverse talent, to connect with mentors, etc. And the fact is, when I was actually showing the app on my phone, my hands started to shake. I don't really get like that. And I just turned to her name, Sainabu, big up Sainabu. I said, Sainabu, I said, explain to him. I know, I just sent her to explain because I was starting to shake. But it was great. He gave me his email address, said, going to link me up with the CEO and things like that. And then I went out and took a picture of him. And then somebody in the building was like, oh, how was your conversation with Rio? So it's yes, I didn't feel so confident. No, I did. I felt confident. I said that's going to happen. But the reality of like knowing that this man is like got 6 million followers on Instagram, etc., started to come into my head. But instead of listening to that, I just decided to go and do it and then speak to him. And I did it shaking. And but I got the results. And it's what we spoke about in the beginning. It's about what's the mission, really. I can't remember what context we were talking about it in. Well, when you said that if you feel like it's a tough day. Yeah. So because I knew what the mission is, it was more than my fears.
You said something actually quite profound just then, and you just get past this. I'm going to point it out just now. You were scared, but you did it shaken. It didn't even matter that. No, it didn't matter. It didn't matter to you the fact that you were shaken. Yeah, you still did it.
Yes,
and I think that is such a powerful idea which people do not take enough of in this life. Like, we're not always going to be ready. We're not always going to feel comfortable. We're not always going to have all the things that we need in place. So we'll always have pushed that start date a little further back, a little further back, a little further back. But the reason why you've been able to accomplish what you've done is that you start, you move, you act regardless of how you feel in that moment. And I think that's a really powerful idea that people really should be taken on as well.
Yeah, as I said, for me, the mission is bigger. So, of course, I'm going to be scared, but who cares? Like, I say to people, things that I think I got on my TikTok, and I don't really use TikTok very well. Follow me. So silly. But I've got a little controversial video on our TikTok, and it said, this was like a couple of years ago, I said, nobody cares if you're shy. I said, nobody cares. I said, you better just start talking up. Yeah, ultimately, it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter if you're scared. It doesn't matter if you're feeling tired. You just basically got to bring it, especially if you want to get to your desired goal, because everybody else is working and doing what they're doing. So you've got to do the same thing. And I know that like somebody like Rio understands that it's not going to be easy usually for people to come to him. So he's going to have that grace with me. And you need to understand people are just people. So as long as you're being nice and friendly, and even if they reject you, and what? On to the next person. There's loads of people that will be willing to facilitate and help you. You
know, I'm going to stick on that point for a second there, because one thing that I've always really admired about you, and also
thank you, sir,
always tried to understand, how on earth do you keep getting people to buy into you? Whether that's your team members, whether that's these big execs, etc. Like, there's one thing that I can say about Andre is that you're going to have somebody and many people commit to your vision and help you get on that way. How do you keep on doing that?
I think two things. I read a book years ago, Danny Johnson, First Steps to Wealth, and she speaks about the funnel of favor. And so I would say one aspect is obviously it's really God. Like, it's God. Like, obviously the way I'm designed and how people are attracted to me, I would say
I'm going to challenge you on that.
Yeah, challenge me
because
then.
that's
We're not
amazing.
gonna fight though, bro.
No, we're not going to fight.
Top
We're not
Boy.
going to fight. We're not going to fight. It's not that type of podcast.
Good.
But you say it's God, which is, I believe that for you 100%. But there are many Christians out there who don't
not
have
getting
that
it.
same result.
Because favour's not fair. Because I'm God's favourite. Okay, I mean, listen, I'm not no pastor or preacher or whatever.
course, yeah.
So all I can say is that I do believe that there is this grace or there's this favour that is on my life. And yes, there are some other Christians that, or some people of faith that don't, it doesn't look like they kind of don't always get it. And I can't necessarily tell you the reasons why, but I definitely know that that there seems to be like favor on me or some type of grace on me for that. I would say that. So some type of spiritual aspect, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
But let's move that aside. You said, how do I get people to buy in a vision? Because everything I do is bigger than me. So I love, behind the dreams, like your whole thing's about dream. I really showcase like this vision of, the things I do. I really care about Black and underrepresented young people, diverse talent. I really want to see them like live on purpose and fulfill their potential. I really care about that. So I, thankfully, like say the app that we've got is functional right now. It works, but it's crazy because like the first year I was at the English Cricket Board event, I was at PRCA, I was at like these big organizations talking about an app that wasn't there. It wasn't there. But I made them see the vision of, you get access to these diverse talent. And I told them about, what we've done before, but now we need to scale up, and this technology is going to be able to give you access to this talent that's going to help your organization. So I just tell them like, basically the big picture. And this is a key as well, I think. Jesus said, the greatest amongst you shall be your servant. So everything I do, oftentimes, hopefully, is for the people. And so because of that, it then does grant me the favor. So service is important. All the greatest people in the world served. So whether you do talk about Jesus or you talk about Mother Teresa, Desmond Tutu, all these different people that were like super great, they really gave their lives to help and to serve wherever they were. And so because that's my heart, I find that people just, they know it's the truth. There's some people that are doing things just for followership and things like that. I barely say anything online, but like really, I'm out here actually wanting the best for people. Like when I was on the train, just advising a young person like what to do in his business. I'm not getting paid for that. That's the reason why then my community on my birthday in this January 30th, that Ezekiel guy raised 2.5K from mentors and mentees to give to me on my birthday. I'm not saying that should do that, no, but because they know that like I really actually do care. I'll say these kind of characteristics of wanted to serve, even when it comes down to when nobody's watching, even though you're watching. But like, I think I said this to my girlfriend, like, it could be like, if I'm in the toilet, sometimes, as guys, we just wee. And then like, you wee, like I was in the toilet, right? And I was in the toilet and I saw wee on the toilet seat before I got there. And I was like, well, that's not mine. I just read into the middle, Girls, I don't know if you know this, but read in the middle. I was like, that's not me. So I flushed the toilet. I was like, I'm not cleaning that. In my head, I'm like, okay. I'm hearing a voice like, yes, you will. Yeah, you will. And I was like, no, I said, I'm not cleaning that. It's not mine. Like, yes, you will. So then I take the tissue out, I wipe the toilet seat, and I walk out, and then the cleaner comes in. And I was actually grateful that I had wiped it at that point, because otherwise she would have thought that was actually me. And then maybe that's not a big deal to anybody, but like, I just want to do what's right. So I believe that when you're actually doing things from a place of actually, there's a problem here and I want to help solve this problem. And that's how I know Abisoye, because I saw that Black entrepreneurs lacked the understanding of how to capitalize on their skill. So I was like, I was just going to do events just to help them, just to know how to do that. I can bring different brands together. I can bring different big speakers, etc. And that's where it started. And that's when I realized I really started to get the favor. Because previously, before, when I was younger, yes, I had this kind of character and look cool and whatever. But as soon as I forged a relationship with the people, the brands, etc., I would burn the bridge, because then it was all about me. Whereas now, it's just, to be honest, even the way that some of the organizations sponsor like our mentorship programs and things like that, it really doesn't make sense, because it's like, you're really doing your best to see us. I had a corporate this week saying, Andre, we just want to see the tech scale. We've got 10,000 employees, so we just want to do this. I'm like, you're already giving money. They're not asking for more money. You give the money, etc. But it's because they know that the money's going to the real stuff. Like, I need to play staff.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. I think it's about the reason how I get that. One, it's God, it's spiritual. And two, is because my heart is in that position of wanting to serve, wanting to help. And people you know what's real or not. I know when there's somebody fake, because I was fake. I was fake. So I know, I can sniff it. And I can see when somebody just like wants to just use me. You're different. As soon as you sent the message, I saw Abisoye, I saw you. It's a yes. Because what people don't know is that you've also been on my entrepreneurial journey. You've come in. I remember sitting outside in Sloane Square after some meeting or whatever, and you was going through our presentation, helping me in the presentation with the young people that we had. So you're part of the journey and story. So thank you very much. Right? Clap for him again. But you're real. I didn't need to know the premise of it. I didn't know what the name of the podcast was. I just knew that Abisoye is messaging me. She's real. You're real. It's enough. So you should be telling me how you told them. How did you get so much favor? Because I'm trying to work it out. Because I'm like, you got Abisoye here. You got these guys working. You're inside Dream Factory. Well, how? Talk to me. How was it for you?
I'll come back to that. But you've touched on a lot of things just then that I want to dive in a little bit deeper on. If that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
On this point around getting people to buy into your vision, it sounds like the first thing that you did is have a vision so big that people want to be a part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the second part of it is then also have that servant heart. But once again, on my journey, I've seen many people that have big goals and they have even the right mentality, but yet they still haven't been successful. So there's something about what you are doing which is very different, because those are not two unique traits of you. So I'm trying to figure out, what is that unique thing about Andre?
What's that unique thing about Andre?
Yeah. Why are you different to other people with big goals? And why are you different to other people that have servant hearts?
As in, like, them not actually achieving their goals?
Exactly that, yeah.
Okay, I think, number one, and I've said this about God, but I spend a lot of time. So I talk about in my book that the primary purpose of a human being is to connect to their source. And for me, my source is Jesus Christ, because I look at the lights. If it's not connected to its source, does it work? No. This microphone, if it's not connected to its source, does it work? No. So us as human beings have to be connected to our source. And it was me connected to my source that then I could actually gain God's mindset over things. I spend time in like prayer and fasting. Obviously I go to church, but the spiritual stuff is like really important for me, because what I think I said to you yesterday, I'm able to then have a signal in the spirit to let me know this is the right thing and this is not the right thing. I'm not even just talking about a gut feeling. I'm talking about actual divine direction. So, for example, I had 3 dreams last year that I shouldn't partner with a certain organization. And at the time, it didn't really make sense to me in the natural, because it really made sense. It made sense in the natural because we deal with young Black people, underrepresented people, diverse talent. So it makes sense to do the partnership. But I had to go with what I believed God was telling me. And then I spoke to my spiritual mentors that said to me, yeah, you should just create that boundary in that. And then now it's all unfolded to me, where that organization is actually not doing so well. And there's been a number of complications around it. But I wouldn't be able to, in the natural, be able to see that. I had to see that with my spiritual eyes. So I would say that it's really downloading, really, what does God really want on this earth and for me to do? And that's what makes me successful, because it's not me. If you bring me back to when I was young, I just wanted to be a presenter and be famous. That was it. I had nothing to talk about. But on my journey of like self-discovery and my journey of connecting to God and then going to Africa and giving back, and I started realizing this is what I want to do. And then I started to see the problems in society, and I'm like, God, how could you help me to solve the problem? Then I saw with Ezekiel, he didn't have resources. I was like, he didn't have a laptop. And then, so I said, God, I prayed. I was like, how can you help me to do that? I gave him my laptop. Then I took one. And then the other day, a company gave me 30 laptops, MacBooks, so that we can then help some more people. So I think it's this the thing that sets me apart is really seeking what God wants, not just utilizing faith and Christianity as a means to advance, because that can actually help you advance as well. In certain realms, I've seen it with people. They'll use Christianity as a means to be able to get more clients and to advance. But that's really not my intention. I'm not perfect, of course not. Yeah. But for me, I'm determined that it's not my life anymore. That it's, how do you want to utilize my life, God? I would say that's really the unique thing. But I could understand that you could argue, and people would actually also believe that they're giving up their life maybe to die a little bit more.
Yeah.
Not die like that, but I mean to yourself. It's a Christian phrase.
What does that mean?
Like, so naturally as human beings, we're really selfish. As soon as you're out of the womb, you're like, oh, you're crying, it's all about me. Maslow hierarchy system of needs talks about human beings wanting love and belonging. So it's constant. We always want, it's all about me, myself, and I. And everybody says, I want to do this in my business. I want to do this in my life. And it's all about me. I want to be happy, etc. But actually, scripture is actually different. It's actually, no, you become greater when you become lower. It's not, love your enemies. Why should I love my enemies? What for? Why should I love you? What have you done for me? But he says, no, love your enemies. And you see the greatest people, they literally love their enemies. And so that's what it is to die into yourself. When I want to cuss you out because you're so rude. But I'm like, I'm going to hold my tongue because I let God fight my battles. And, I'm going to bless you anyway. It's doing right when it's just easier and it looks okay to just do wrong or to cut corners. And sometimes it's hard for me because sometimes I've seen people just cut the corners and just going so far fast. And it's like, what the heck? Yeah. I'm out here doing things right. Oh, give me a break. But in the long term, I think it's what you said about this podcast. You said, listen, this is a long-term thing. And most people are not having that long-term mindset. They're just having like, I want it now. I want this now. But do you have the capacity to sustain that blessing? Do a lot of these people that are on TikTok now that are blowing up, where are they going to be in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years time? You keep doing the same thing. Okay, where are you going to be in 5 years time, like 10 years time? So I think going back to what you said, I think it's really having divine direction. I think that's what sets me apart. And then, of course, I work hard. That's the next thing. I know a lot of people work hard, but I do. And I pivot quickly or fail fast. I do that quickly. If it's not working, I just move on quick. I decided in the beginning of the year, we're going to do these reverse mentorship things online every month, because I'm thinking what we could do is attract corporates to that, and then from that, corporates can come on and stuff. And I realized it was good, but like people weren't asking many questions. I didn't earn a lot of money out of it. Like, we could do it every quarter. I'm not doing this. Like, just, you've got to work out fail fast. And you've got to have a big mission. You have to have a big vision, like, because if you have that, then you'll have that passion to just keep going. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if there's not money in the bank or money in the bank. I know it's going to come. It's always come. Like, it's always come. It's always come on the right time. Always come. And it's because obviously I believe God won, and then experience. And this doesn't just belong to a category of just Christian people, no, because if you work hard and you have that vision, you have that mission, you can actually achieve the goals that you actually want. But you'll see that, people say, oh, all these things are going to work out. They actually do in the end work out. And so you have to have that mindset. So this morning I woke up, I wasn't feeling so good, but guess what? I had to get out of bed, just pray, pray and be like, I've got to get on with this thing.
So It sounds like you've got all the characteristics, or you're demonstrating the characteristics that will make somebody successful: the vision, the hard work, pushing yourself forward, etc. But the thing that's unique to you is how strongly you stay connected to your source, which is the thing that gives you your identity. So going back to knowing who you are, having that authenticness, and even when it's difficult. This is
the book for you, isn't it? Come on.
Even when it's authentic, or even when it's difficult, rather, you still remain true to your principles, to your ideas, and even if it looks odd to the rest of the world, it doesn't matter to you.
100%.
Stay connected to that.
100%.
Yeah.
And then I've got a lot of people that few people that I choose to advise me. And even if they advise me, it might not be right for me. And I have to know inside, internally, is that right for me? No.
So great mentorship, great counsel, great advisors.
Definitely great. And I do, like, if I want to make any like big decisions or whatever, I want to consult my network. And I'm willing to know that when I was walking down the road here, we was trying to talk about, my girlfriend mentioned she's super intelligent, pick up Jess. But she gave me some advice that I was actually laughing at. Sorry. But I said to her, we could look at it a little bit later, but I was like, no. And then I called the lady that does our HR, and she's like, no, that's correct. That makes sense. That will actually add value. That you can actually say, this is the reason why we're charging more, because we're actually doing these soft checks, etc. So I had to go back to her and eat my words and say, you were right. And she went quiet. And so, but I do have the counsel around me and the people around me to advise me, to let me know, how to move forward accordingly, and just getting that wisdom from people. Because I think there's a scripture that says, there's safety in a multitude of counselors. So having those people's, like, I've known that the logo for our app, I looked at it and I was like, this is not it. Even though the young people actually designed it, they designed it. So it makes sense, isn't it? That you just choose what they say. Like, but something about it was that it's not right. And then I spoke to Amakush yesterday, who's head of a big creative agency called Sunshine Company. And I said to him, what do you think of the logo? And he's like, no. In front of the young people, they're like, oh, but we like it. And he's like, okay, would you wear this on a t-shirt outside? Would you wear this on clothing? They were like, I was like, thank you very much. We need to change the logo. So having the wise counsel around is important.
What do you do when someone says no to you? Especially when it's something to stop you accomplish your mission or your goals.
Oh, because they're just being bad mind?
Nah, because they have genuine reasons why they don't think you're the right pathway to go down.
How do you handle that? Proper things for that. I think so you actually care about this person.
Either way, so it could be multiple sides. I guess there's if you have a relationship with a person, they say no when you're trying to do something to move your mission forward, or it's somebody that has the ability to make a decision that could stop your business or one of your projects moving forward. Okay,
so there's two sides. So I deal with the one where you spoke about the person that I know kind of thing. Advice, I think that's fine. You can hear what they've got to say, and it's important to hear what they've got to say. Another thing what I do, but I'll just really check in with myself. I'll listen to what they're saying, check in with myself and work out, is this it? I'll pray, try and work out where is this coming from, what they're saying. And then I would consult some other counselors, some other advisors, and work out what they're saying around that so I can make an informed decision. But if what they're saying, deep down, I know it's not right, then I'm going to ask God for wisdom on how to deal with the relationship. But at that point, it doesn't really matter what you're saying. I've got to do what I've got to do, because we all have our own lives and we've got free will.
Yeah.
So you could say as much as you want to say, but it doesn't matter. It's my life. The same way that when I deal with my mentees, I can only give advice, and I always tell them, like, I'm not telling you to do what I'm saying. Like, this is just my outlook. This is just my worldview. Yeah. And then what I see doesn't really make sense to me. But if you want to do that, you can do that. So I think it's important that I have free will. You have free will. Do what you want to do. Doesn't really matter. I don't care. I don't care if it's mom and dad, sister, brother, best friend, mentor. Who cares? Like, what decision you make, that's the decision you made. And then you're going to have to live with those consequences of whatever that is, good or bad, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one is somebody's trying to...
So let's say it's a corporate and you want to get 200K from them.
I'll give you good.
Like, you want to hear
right now, like last week. Okay, cool. I got introduced to a big tech company. It's ongoing. It's happening right now. I got introduced to a big tech company for a CEO from a different organization. Had this big call with like the president of this company and like 10 employees. I was quite taken back because I thought it was just me and the woman. Anyways, held it down. It was just me and Anthony does operations for us. Hey. And then after, the head of D&I emailed me and said, oh, our budget is fully allocated for the year. So unfortunately, we can't work with GPE this year. Yeah, I'll find it on my phone. Then what I then did, I went onto LinkedIn and then I messaged another person in the call that, to be honest, was black and the head of training at this organization. And I just said, hey, to the person, also speaking with you and the team, would love to have a convo with you when you are available. And they said, hi, Andre, hope you're well. Thanks for reaching out. Was actually speaking about you yesterday. I'm keen to have a follow-up with you and your team. I'll circle back with dates. And I said, oh, great to hear. Great to hear you guys were speaking about us. Yes, please, sir. That will be awesome. Happy to have a discount if it helps your budgets. Because I heard this woman say she don't have budget in hers. So I'm like, okay, if we need to give a discount to get you through the door because I've learned in organizations, there's different budgets. You can have D&I budget, HR budget, talent acquisition budget. There's many different budgets that they have, and not all the time do they even work with each other. So that's why I went to this next guy, because I don't care if somebody tells me no. I'm always going to get what I want. And then I said, then I'm selling the vision, really want 1 million young Black and underserved young people gaining mentorship and opportunities. So I'm saying stuff to like pull on the heartstrings, because this is it. Then he said to me, hi, spoken to the team, keen to meet you. Majority was not on the call a few weeks back. However, would love for you to meet and take them on the same journey you did for me, this person and this person. Is Monday 3 p.m. work for you? So I know that where there's a will, there's a way. I don't care if you told me no. It doesn't matter. And more times, if that person tells me no, and if they're not the CEO, I'm telling you, I'm going above you. So what happened, even another lady from that same company, that lady that said to me she has no budget, she then put me in I know it's hard for you guys to follow the story, but I wanted to use a certain venue for free, right? But that lady that said she has no budget introduced me to the lady that has the venue, and told me maybe this lady can help you. But if you've sent me an email saying you don't have budget and you put me in the email with the woman that heads up the venue, she's obviously going to say no to me. I'm not dumb. So what do? I put the CEO of the company that introduced me to them. Then I put the president of the company in that, and I say, oh, hi, could you just check this date? Because this is when this CEO is available to come. And I'm hoping that president is able to do that day, but she is on annual leave. So I'm basically telling this woman what to do. You will not tell me what to do. You will do it. And then she says, oh my gosh, this year, this is not what we're doing. We're no longer doing paneled events, but we'll do this one-off for you. Of course you're going to do it for me. You can't tell me no.
So there was a lot of,
who are you?
There were a lot of dimensions to that.
Say that again?
There are a lot of dimensions to what
There's
he's
loads.
saying. So if you was to, let's say, give advice to a mentee right now, what is the lesson from that they need to take away?
The lesson is that you have to have the belief that there's a way. If you have the mindset that there's a way, the way will make itself known to you. And you have to just ask God for wisdom in the situation. So it's not about necessarily go to the CEO, okay? Because you could just have favor with somebody that's not necessarily a CEO. But it's not taking no for an answer. Why? Why would I take a no for an answer? I want to work with the tech company. I want that logo. I want those staff members on my app. Like, that's it. Like, that's what I want. And nobody's going to stop me from getting it, because you really find that when people are like don't have a scarcity mindset. I just got that from Courtney because I just saw it on LinkedIn. But when they don't have that kind of scarcity mindset, then they really want to help you. And if you actually spoke to the people at the top, most times they actually just want to help because they've been there, done it, and actually want to help. And so because my mission is so big, it doesn't matter if one person in one part, the head of whatever, says something. That doesn't mean anything. So I think it's down to a mindset. You have to believe that what you're working on is worthy of the attention, of the input, and it's really going to help the world, essentially. Does that make sense?
That does.
By the way, the book's for you, by the way.
Thank you.
I'll sign it later.
Yeah.
It's gonna be worth, it's gonna be worth so much. It's gonna be worth so much money.
I've got a pen on me. I've got a Sharpie, in fact. Because you never know when you have to sign something, you know what I mean?
Come on.
Let me put this down there. So, Andre, when I first met you, you was known as the purpose coach.
Yes.
But from what I'm gathering, it sounds like you're moving away from that.
Moving right away.
Why is that?
I just feel like I just don't want to tell people about like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I like the phrase mentor because I'm able to journey with people through life. Now, I created the technology that connects these young people to mentors because obviously not everybody can come to me, but they'll be able to find help through. Are you going to sign up? Yeah,
I will sign up.
Thank you very much. Give us some money. So I like mentor, definitely. That's good. And then I like presenter.
What is the difference between a mentor and a coach?
Oh, you tell me, bro. What are you talking about? You tell me. Well, coach is the one that's like, getting them to this next goal. Whereas the other one, I just see it as mentor is really, journeying with them throrough life and really going deep and stories and.
But you don't think coaches journey with
coaches are like just getting you to this goal. I don't know, just too much. And then I head and go da 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 on Instagram and Reels and TikTok. This is what I would like in this season. Is presenter, mentor, and the founder of Global Purpose Enterprise. That's good enough for me. My actual skill is presenting. So going back, this is inspiring me again to actually do the podcast. I might need to episode, so there might not be any more behind this tree podcast.
Good luck is what I can say. Good luck.
You're saying good luck. I'll pray about it. God will.
Pray hard.
I'll pray hard. I'll be super glad got that. But I think that, I'm just in this season. I'm just building a business, want to present and host. That's what I love doing. I just want to be authentically myself.
Right.
And I don't want to have to feel like I'm giving these, 10 steps to this, 5 steps to that. Like, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to be myself. So I'm best when I go on stage, put the hat on, obviously, and I have the microphone and, captivate the audience. That's awesome. Hosting podcast stuff.
What's really interesting is the way that you're describing.
First time I'm saying this, I went through this in my head the last 2 days.
Okay, well, exclusive. Happy to have that here. Woo-hoo. But what's really interesting is that you're describing, I guess, what a lot of people see a coach to be, but that's almost the Instagram version of what a coach is, as opposed to what necessarily a coach could be.
So you educate me. What's usually a coach doing?
So, at least in my experience and my training, when it comes to coaching, it's more, you can do the whole 10 steps to this and push people towards X, Y, and Z, etc. But I've always seen it as helping to improve people's thinking. Okay. So a good coach is somebody who, in my opinion, asks way more questions than they are trying to give information. I've always seen a mentor as being someone who, from their life experience, will give you direct advice. Whereas as a coach, at least the way that I was trained to be one, you try to give as little advice as possible. Nice. You will do it when necessary, but it's way more around how do you empower this person to think more clearly for themselves come to the right conclusion. Nice. So
and I think that's the reason why I'm a mentor. Like, throughout this whole conversation, I've been drawing upon my experiences. Yes, there's principles. Yes, there's theories that are there, but I've been able to look at my own life and actually see these things really work. And so that's the reason why I've been able to give some advice or, I think it's a bit more personal than just with coaching. Yeah, I just want to be Andre Spence. That's what I want to be.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, and I just want to look good while doing it, wearing the Prada.
Yeah. Fair enough. You're gonna have to teach me on that one too.
I'm gonna have to charge you there.
So, there's been another really big change in your life, and that is your relationship. You've mentioned her quite a few times, so she's had quite a big impact on your life. But why is now the right time for that for you? What changed?
Nobody wants to be alone. Because she's an answer to prayer.
What was that prayer?
Lord, find me the right person for me. I'm super eclectic. I'm out there. I think deeply. I'm really, obviously a unique character. So it's going to take a unique person to be able to handle me. And what's interesting is that we're actually opposites. I'm loud. She's quiet. I'm disorganized. She's very organized. I don't want to say she's clean. I'm gonna say I'm dirty. Okay. But yeah, she's definitely. I don't know if they say yin to my yang, etc. But definitely added so much value to my life. Helped me to become more patient. Helping to me to become who God's really called me to be. You heard me say today about in business you have to really serve and die to yourself and do all those things. But in the relationships you have to do that as well. And so it's been really beautiful to have someone that accepts me, Andre Spence. She knows, me. And I love her for her, whilst we're also growing to become one. Why was it important for me now?
Why now?
Yeah, man. I need to be married and have some picnic. But beyond that, she's literally added it. I know that I've had a big mission, right? But like now that she's in my life, it's like there's like a real reason now. There's a real reason I want this to go and I want to earn loads of money, etc. There's there's another level to this. Like I see her, I want to protect her, I want to provide for her, all of that. So there's that extra oomph. And like I said to you just a moment ago, she's able to see things that I'm not able to see. She can see those blind spots that I can't see. And so because she's so meticulous with the technology, for example, she's helping to make sure everything's written properly. And she's even asked the coding guy, can she have the back end so she can start coming in there and writing the stuff? He's like, no, she's like, I'm sure I can do it. I'm sure I can. So she's very humble and opposite to me. She doesn't like big environments with loads of people. She's different than me, but that's what actually makes us work. And yeah, we would have never thought that. Well, she didn't think it. I said from the first day, I said, this is my wife. Like, it's what it is, isn't it? I think that's how guys are. Like, I think we know what we want. But yeah, she would have never thought I would have been the person for her, and I wouldn't have thought she would have been. But until I saw her the first day, and I thought, yeah, you're paying. But yeah, she's just a good human being. That's what's crazy. At one time I was like analyzing, I was like, I've never seen a person with like a bigger heart than me. Like, I haven't seen that. And one of my mentors said, that's why when God said that, he made, he said, flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. Like God created her, she's like the same as you. So yes, we're quite opposite in personality and temperament and things like that, but we are very similar with regards to how much we care and how much we give, and we keep loving each other in relationships. Is it easy? No, it's not easy, because as I said, two things becoming one is you have to merge it together and form it and things like that. But it's a beautiful relationship that's added so much value to my life. So for that, I'm eternally grateful, and I'm looking forward to how life becomes easy, because she's so organized. But having somebody that's opposite to me has made me find myself to another degree, because she's a part of me, because we're working together. And so where she's weak, I'm strong. Where I'm strong, she's weak, etc. So we really can, and plus we look fly together. Yeah, she completed me in that area, made me come up in style too.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, sir. This is good. This has been therapy.
Therapeutic, yeah?
This has been therapy. It's good, thanks.
That's fine. I'll invoice you for that too.
Andre, you know, I've got one more question.
No more.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Okay. Andre?
I've got a question for you.
Go on, real quick.
Where do you see this going?
Great question.
I'm doing this because I need to find time for the question you're going to ask me.
There's so much that we want to do. Myself and Abby Sawyer, we're talking things out. We're learning a lot. This is very much so just the beginning of the story. Understanding things like the YouTube algorithm, understanding how to be a better interviewer, understanding how to connect more with our audiences and things of that nature. So, in all honesty, if we can continue down the pathway we're at, then in a few years' time, we're going to be one of the best in the game.
Oh, jeez, that hit me in it. Calm down. It's good vision.
Andre, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. You've been an absolutely amazing guest. I know you're.
I'll send you my invoice after.
It's all good. You do that. Whether or not it gets paid, different story, but send it along anyway. You've been an amazing guest. You've been really honest. You've shared a lot with our audience, and there's been a lot of value. And I know you're such a busy person, so taking the time to do this means a lot to us.
That's awesome, sir.
My last question to you before you go. now that you have a vibe of what the podcast is about and how we do this, who would you like to see on here in the future?
So if I put myself in your shoes, who would I want to be interviewing? Maybe I'm going to give you two people because it just popped into my head. Some people that I'll give you three because they're actually on my Instagram right now. But Rio Ferdinand, because I just saw him the other day. I just love the fact that he has, outside of all the work that he does, he has a foundation and he's helped over 10,000 young people. And I think that's pretty cool. Then obviously his wife passed away and he's got married again. I think that's such a unique, interesting story. Then I would say on my Instagram, there's will.i.am, because when I see him, I see myself. When you speak to him, he's like fast paced, forward thinking, like it's really crazy, good energy. I love his story. I've seen his documentary, amazing. And the last person I'm going to say, sorry, I better say somebody UK. Nella Rose, because again, when I've met her, spoken to her, she's such a good human being. Like when you see how much this girl does business and just knowing her backstory of, you know, not having certain family members in her life and all of that. I didn't watch her on Celebrity Get Me Out of Here, but known her for a little while. Had really deep conversations with her. You might see Nella Rose as in like funny and whatever, but yeah, she's super deep. Yeah.
That's amazing. If you want to connect with any of those people, feel very free to. But for now, thank you so much, Andre.
And big up Nick Jones as well, Soho House. He's great. He doesn't really do many podcasts. I think he did the podcast I did with him and Stephen, but he's a really good man for Soho House.
Amazing. That's 4 guests. Well, Andre, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, sir.